Now we look at three types of money. Now, when money started after barter, they say it started originally in West Turkey, in a part which they call Lydia. At that time, they just took pure gold and they'd made a coin of that. And that was the first type of coins. They say that type of money, which is made of pure gold or silver or copper or whichever, that is commodity money. Commodity money is the coin itself have a value because of the metal or it is made of. Okay, then we got, after that, representative money. Now, representative money is also made of paper that is worthless, but at that time, many years ago, I could go to the bank and hand in this paper and they will give me real gold. So that paper represent gold, for example. And it means that you can get gold if you want to. But nowadays, our money is not backed up by gold or diamonds or whatever it is. So you can't take your 200 note and say, I want gold for this, because it's not backed up by that. And the money we use nowadays, that is not backed up by, for example, is fiat money. Now this money is also made of coins, metal and paper for the notes. But these coins, the metal it is made of, have no correlation to the value of that coin. It don't mean it's worth, the metal is worth 50 cents. That 50-cent coin is made of. And so for the paper also don't mean it is worth 200, which is the value of that note. So this fiat money that we are using is legal money because the government say it is legal. That is the important point. They say it's not backed up by any commodity. And then the last point is it is influenced by demand and supply. The more there is a demand for it, the higher the price of this money. You can make a small note on the side. The price of money is the interest rate we pay for it, or what we receive for money. So the higher the demand, the higher the price or the interest rate of money will be. Okay, so this is types of money: commodity money, representative money, and fiat money. Okay. Now for the last point in this PowerPoint and this lesson of today, we look at the exchange rates of a country. Now for a definition, which they can teach you on, it is normally good for you to look at the marks allocated to a question. So if the marks say 3 marks, then you know it is preferable that you also put an example to your answer. A definition for exchange rate is that the price of one currency, for example, the Namibian dollar, is expressed in terms of another currency. Say, for example, the US dollar. So all other people just say it's the price of one currency in terms of another currency, and then they say one US dollar is equal to 16 Namibian dollars. Okay, there's a small calculation classwork question that you can work two together and see if you come to the answer. The answer is also provided there for you, the calculation. I ask you calculate the amount of Namibian dollars that you need to pay for a part of your Volkswagen car that you can't get in Namibia and you must now import from Germany, from the Volkswagen factory, and that part costs 500 euros. So my question to you is, how much Namibian dollars must you offer to pay or to get 500 euros so that you can pay the company in euros for it? It is very important that you realize that if you buy from Germany, that you must pay them in their own currency. So if I buy from Britain, I must pay them in pounds. So how will I pay them in pounds? I must offer Namibian dollars on the money market, get pounds, and then pay them. So for Germany, I offer Namibian dollars, and that is the question I ask you, how many Namibian dollars must you offer on the money market to get euros? And then you use that euros to pay them. So that is important that you realize. You can't buy from Japan and pay in Namibian dollars, that company from which you bought the watch. You must pay them in yen. Okay, then you must realize that exchange rates can be all fluctuating, or they call them floating exchange rates. They are just influenced by demand and supply. So the more the demand is for a currency, the higher the value of this exchange rate. The more that if supply is more than the demand, the lower the value of this exchange rate. And then we also get another type of exchange rate, and that is a fixed exchange rate. So immediately, if you see what floating is, and now I said you can, some countries also using a fixed exchange rate. This is predominantly, entirely sometimes controlled by a government through their central bank. Sometimes they also peg an exchange rate. Then they not allow the exchange rate to go, say, higher than 20, but also not lower than 4. So they keep them then in a certain range. Some countries also do that. Okay, and I can ask you also questions of why exchange rates in a country change, and you can tell me one reason can be if interest rates change. Because if interest rates increase, then people from other countries will say, that's a good country to save and invest in. So I will save my money there because I get high interest. If I save it in Britain, I can only get 1%. But if I save it here, I can get 12%. So that may be reasons why they demand our currency, that they can save it here. Another reason may be if our exports get more than our imports. Because if we export a lot, then that countries to whom we export will demand our currency. And if they demand our currency, it will help that the value of our currency increase because the demand get higher than the supply. Another reason is political and economic instability or changes can cause that exchange rates decrease, because investors will say, no, this country is not economically stable, or this country is not politically stable, we will withdraw our money. So what they are doing, they offer lots of Namibian dollars on the market so that they can get their own currency and take it out of the country. And then the last one, which causes that exchange rates change in our country, can be inflation. Because people will say, no, I normally buy from Namibian meat, But because the price of meat have increased, so I will rather buy from Botswana, where the price is cheaper. So you see, then the demand for our currency decreased. And you remember I have said that the demand and the supply influence the value of the currency and the value of the exchange rate. Okay, then you will also see there's a short question on the exchange rate. And then an important note, which I want to emphasize. If the demand is for a currency is more than the supply, the value of that currency increase. That means that you don't have to offer so many Namibian dollars as you have offered in the past. So say, for example, you previously offered 19 Namibian dollars for a pound. If the value of your currency increase, of the Namibian currency, you can also only offer 17 now. Another word for this is, which they sometimes use, they say the currency appreciate. So remember that, that's the same meaning. The opposite is true. If supply is more than demand, then the currency value drop, and then they call it that it depreciate. I've also give you examples here on the next slide on classwork you can do. And here I said you must use a section in the newspaper. I've also give you there a slide of a section that you can get, that I got on the internet, but you get it in newspapers on the exchange rate, and then you can answer the following questions for homework mark. Okay, and then there's also homework which you can do, and which will help you to make sure that you understand the work that was covered in the previous PowerPoint and in this PowerPoint. And then I have lastly offered to you another 4 exam or test questions, which you will find also all these questions with their answers in a booklet that we will supply to you.